who here gets nervous around airports? Like, people do, don't they? Yeah, a few people are like, I don't know, it just makes me nervous. It's like, I love airport security. I'm white, right? It's so good. It's like a fucking theme park, you know? Get treated like royalty. I'm like, no, thank you. Right? It's great. You know, sometimes I will get waved in, like, between a Sudanese family or something, just to prove they're not racially profiling people, you know? And we'll wink at each other, you know? He knows, you know, I don't have a fucking bomb, right? And by the way, I'm the perfect amount of white for an airport, right? Because I'm not like white trash, you know? I'm not like punching the wait staff at Gloria Jean's because my flight to Bali's been delayed for 20 minutes, you know? Like thongs, bintang singlet, turns around the pram. What do you mean you don't serve cookies and cream? Again, not a joke, just a thing that happened. Right, and I'm like right in the middle of the white spectrum, just in general. Like I'll take home those little mini shampoo bottles from hotel rooms, but I'm not like clapping at the end of Avengers white, you know. I'm like right in the sweet spot. The final stage of airport security is New Zealand is sniffer dogs. And I'd never encountered sniffer dogs before at an airport, right? So if you've never seen how sniffer dogs work, they kind of go around the airport, they sniff everyone's bags for about 10 seconds, and then they move on to the next bag. And the sniffer dog sniffed every single person's bag in the terminal, and then he got to my bag, gave it one sniff, its eyes popped open, it sat down next to my bag, and it started barking at the security officer, right? And I was like, oh no, I've been Chappelled. I was like, this is the last time I go boogie boarding in Queenstown. And the dog's just losing its shit, right? And I was so scared. I had images of my mum just watching border security at home, just pausing it, then grabbing the TV, then just bursting into our room going, Luke Harrison Kidgell, is this you? So I'm freaking out. The dog's losing its shit, right? And then the guy says the most New Zealand thing on the planet. Excuse the accent. He was like, excuse me, mate, what is in your backpack? And I'm standing there with a backpack that is full to the brim of shit, right? It doesn't even close. And I'm like, oh. Nothing? Which is the worst thing you can possibly say in that situation? You know, that's the last thing the Bali Nine said before they got arrested. Like, what's in the backpack, mate? Nothing? All right, $4 million worth of heroin. But no nail clippers. Oh, fuck, you're fine. Go through. Right? So I'm standing there, I'm freaking out. The dog's losing its shit. So I'm watching the customs officer just evaluate the situation. The dog's losing its shit, right, tugging on the leash. He's trying to control it. He's looking at my bag, which is just full to the brim, and he looks at me, and he takes into account the colour of my skin. And he goes to me, he's like, oh, is there any fruit in your backpack, mate? And I was like, oh, yeah, there's an orange in my backpack, and the dog's losing it, right? So he's like trying to keep the dog on the top, but he's trying to remain calm, and he's like, oh, yeah, sorry, pieces of citrus really sits him off. And then he just walked away. I told you, I'm the perfect amount of white for an airport. As he's leaving, right, the dog still wants my bag, right? The dog's tugging at the leash, and he's like, oh, sorry, he looks like he's about to explode, right? I'm the perfect amount of white for an airport. If I was any other race or nationality, he'd just sort of been like, oh, yeah, sorry, people from Syria really sets him off. You look like you're about to explode. That's a joke. Calm down. People from Syria don't explode, okay? Their bags do.